Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Rock music with deliberately offensive lyrics expressing anger and social alienation, in part a reaction against progressive rock. A teenager or young adult who is a performer, or enthusiast, of punk rock and a member of the punk youth subculture. Material for starting a fire. An aggressive and violent young criminal. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Substance that smolders when ignited, used to light fuses, especially fireworks. Rock music with deliberately offensive lyrics expressing anger and social alienation, in part a reaction against progressive rock. A teenager or young adult who is a performer, or enthusiast, of punk rock and a member of the punk youth subculture. Material for starting a fire. The act of setting something on fire. The courage to carry on. He kept fighting on pure spunk. Material for starting a fire. Material for starting a fire. Material for starting a fire. An awkward, stupid person. An aggressive and violent young criminal. A protective covering that is part of a plant. Protective covering consisting of a metal part that covers the engine. There are powerful engines under the hoods of new cars. An aggressive and violent young criminal. Metal covering leading to a vent that exhausts smoke or fumes. A tubular attachment used to keep stray light out of the lens of a camera. A headdress that protects the head and face. Cover with a hood. The bandits were hooded. Falconry. A leather covering for a hawk's head. Slang. A neighborhood. The folding roof of a carriage. Zoology. An expandable part or marking that resembles a hood on the head or neck of an animal. An aggressive and violent young criminal. An aggressive and violent young criminal. An aggressive and violent young criminal. Making great mental demands, hard to comprehend or solve or believe. Very difficult, severely testing stamina or resolution. The competition was tough. Someone who learned to fight in the streets rather than being formally trained in the sport of boxing. Unfortunate or hard to bear. A tough break. Violent and lawless. Tough street gangs. Physically toughened. The tough bottoms of his feet. An aggressive and violent young criminal. A cruel and brutal fellow. Substantially made or constructed. A tough all-weather fabric. Feeling physical discomfort or pain, tough, is occasionally used colloquially for bad. He was feeling tough after a restless night. Not given to gentleness or sentimentality. A tough character. Resistant to cutting or chewing. An aggressive and violent young criminal. A particularly difficult or baffling question or problem. Ask for and get free. Be a parasite. Person who does no work. A lazy bum. Be lazy or idle. Her son is just bumming around all day. A person who is deemed to be despicable or contemptible. Throw the bum out. A vagrant. He tried to help the really down and out bums. The fleshy part of the human body that you sit on. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Tastelessly showy. Relatively low in price or charging low prices. It would have been cheap at twice the price. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Embarrassingly stingy. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Embarrassingly stingy. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Morally degraded. Sleazy characters hanging around casinos. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Of cloth, thin and loosely woven. The coat has a sleazy lining. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Thin and metallic in sound, lacking resonance. An unpleasant tinny voice. Of or containing tin. Written or printed below and to one side of another character. A character or symbol set or printed or written beneath or slightly below and to the side of another character. Falling short of some prescribed norm. Having an orbit between the Sun and the Earth's orbit. Mercury and Venus are inferior planets. Lower than a given reference point. Inferior alveolar artery. Of low or inferior quality. Of or characteristic of low rank or importance. One of lesser rank or station or quality. A genre of popular music originating in the 1950s, a blend of black rhythm and blues with white country and western. Move back and forth or sideways. The ship was rocking. Hard bright colored stick candy, typically flavored with peppermint. Pitching dangerously to one side. Material consisting of the aggregate of minerals like those making up the Earth's crust. That mountain as solid rock. Cause to move back and forth. Rock the cradle. United States gynecologist and devout Catholic who conducted the first clinical trials of the oral contraceptive pill, 1890 to 1984. A genre of popular music originating in the 1950s, a blend of black rhythm and blues with white country and western. Rock is a generic term for the range of styles that evolved out of rock and roll. A lump or mass of hard consolidated mineral matter. He threw a rock at me. Figurative, someone who is strong and stable and dependable. He was her rock during the crisis. A genre of popular music originating in the 1950s, a blend of black rhythm and blues with white country and western. Rock is a generic term for the range of styles that evolved out of rock and roll. A genre of popular music originating in the 1950s, a blend of black rhythm and blues with white country and western. A genre of popular music originating in the 1950s, a blend of black rhythm and blues with white country and western. A genre of popular music originating in the 1950s, a blend of black rhythm and blues with white country and western. Displaying or suggesting a lack of maturity. Adolescent insecurity. Being of the age 13 through 19. A juvenile between the onset of puberty and maturity. In the state of development between puberty and maturity. Adolescent boys and girls. relating to or peculiar to or suggestive of an adolescent. Adolescent problems. A juvenile between the onset of puberty and maturity. Being of the age 13 through 19. Teenage mothers. A juvenile between the onset of puberty and maturity.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.